All new here on the WHS 1119 tonight. Could the answers to a decade-old mystery be hidden in the hills of eastern Kentucky? Detectives and family related to Richard Strong seem to think so. He was last seen alive at a campsite on top of a mountain near Hazard, Kentucky. That was 10 years ago, and despite many searches, interrogations, and evidence collected, no clue ever led to the missing man. Tonight, the Unsolved team is there tackling the case. Shay McAllister takes us to Hazard.
Through the hollows of eastern Kentucky, the hills and valleys can be hard to navigate.
It's just a huge, huge area.
So when Richard Strong disappeared,
it was an awful night.
Everything and everywhere was considered evidence.
At one point in time, 6 of us was probably working from daylight to dark.
Around-the-clock efforts at first eventually turned into files, put into folders. More than a decade later, Richard's wife says she believes answers are still ahead.
What comes around goes around. That's the saying everybody says around here, and I believe in it. And this picture was happy times. We were married 16 years.
Darlene Strong still smiles at the memories.
And ain't a day go by I don't think about him.
The better days before her husband left to go meet people at a campsite and never made it home.
There's an empty spot in your heart. It'll never close. It'll never will.
Her pain pushes police for answers.
Darlene, she has no idea what's happened to Richard.
More than a decade later, detectives focus on finding him.
I'm Chris Collins. I'm a detective with the Kentucky State Police. I'm the officer in charge of investigating the missing person case of Richard Strong.
It was February of 2011. Strong was with a friend and some acquaintances at an old strip job. Darlene was at home when she says someone came to her front door panicked, explaining her husband was hurt.
Richard was reported missing by his wife, Darlene Strong.
First, the trooper on the case started searching for Strong's car.
Tried to stop the car. The car left I wouldn't call it a pursuit so much, but it did try to get away.
It wasn't Strong inside, but someone else. And when the car got stuck on a back road in eastern Kentucky, the man inside got out and ran. Troopers searched for him, now considered a suspect, while the local rescue squad was called in to search for Strong.
They decided to wait until daylight hours to start because of the fog. It was very foggy before they began the search.
Once the search started, it was all hands on deck.
And I think we had like 12 dogs, like 20 volunteers, and did another search. No evidence of Richard was found at all.
So investigators turned their attention elsewhere, looking for the people who were with him that night.
It was believed from interviewing all of them that when Richard was at the campsite, he was accused of possibly stealing a wallet off of one of the individuals. And he was actually struck by an individual there 2 times, and he left walking from the campsite.
Last seen walking away. That's the story police were provided. But this investigator says he thinks something else happened.
I believe that he is deceased. I believe that that something was done to him. It's just, and that there is a few people out there that knows the story. And then I believe I've talked to them, but I've just not got it from them.
For the victim's wife, the real story matters.
Now I'm hoping that I get to see justice. Because Richard didn't deserve this. He was too good to people.
But with the time that has passed, the detective admits justice will be difficult. So his priority for closure in this case, find the missing man.
Well, anytime we work cases like this, our main goal is if somebody's involved, we want to make sure justice is served, but that's not my goal in this. It was just to find his remains.
You can learn more about this unsolved case and others right now by joining our discussion group called Unsolved Insiders. It's right there on Facebook.